Welcome to today's Deep Dive Explainer. So, our main mission today is to completely unpack the really fascinating observation records of Tommy Yoshida, also known as Yoshida Tsutomu. We're going to look closely at the central questions running through both the Japanese and international editions of his work. But hey, here is the catch for today's explainer. We are absolutely not here to evaluate AI, and honestly, we aren't here to hand you a neat, closed conclusion either. We are right in the middle of a massive transition period. So instead, we're just going to leave these unfinished thoughts and pending questions exactly as they are. We want to really invite you to just contemplate how language, technology, and human judgment are interacting right at this very moment. Think about it. Every single day, we are just absolutely bombarded with online articles. I mean, news, economics, global affairs, it is completely overwhelming. Well, Yoshida has developed a very specific, kind of strict stance on how to handle this massive information deluge. His golden rule: I don't blindly trust either the article or the AI. It's a simple sentence, but it's the foundation of his entire approach. It really highlights the literal danger of simply accepting every single thing we consume on the internet. Now I want you to think about your own reading habits for a second. For a long time, Yoshida's old habit, and let's be honest, it's a habit most of us still have, was to read an article, think to ourselves, oh, I see, that makes sense, and just move on. It's pure passive consumption. But his new reality in this AI era, it's entirely different. Now, he literally never stops after just reading. Instead, he intentionally starts a conversation with generative AI right afterward. He's fully transitioned from being a passive reader to a highly active evaluator. The intention behind this conversation is really what makes his method so unique. You see, when Yoshida inputs an article into an AI, he isn't asking the machine, hey, is this right or wrong? He absolutely is not looking for a shortcut to the truth. Instead, he is actively seeking out another set of eyes, to observe the information from a totally different angle. He wants perspective, not easy answers. So you might be wondering, how exactly does he do this? Let's break down the specific questions he uses to guide this dialogue. Okay, so his first move? Establishing the baseline. When he sits down to engage with the AI, Yoshida always starts by asking it to identify which parts of the text are generally well supported by actual facts. Because think about it, before he can critique an article or form his own independent opinion, he has to map out the foundation of reality that the author is building upon. It's honestly a brilliant way to just cut through all the noise and find the actual hard evidence. So with that factual foundation mapped out, he stress tests the rest of the piece. He probes the AI to point out potential weaknesses. Like, are there claims that are a bit shaky? Has the author used these overly strong, sweeping expressions that just aren't fully backed up by the data? This question acts as a really critical filter. It helps him spot exactly where an author's personal enthusiasm or bias might be kind of running ahead of the actual facts. Now, this next question targets what is perhaps the absolutely most vital critical thinking skill anyone can develop today. Yoshida asks the AI to help him draw a hard line between objective reality, what actually happened, and the author's personal editorializing. In today's crazy media landscape, those two things are frequently blended together to persuade you. By forcing this separation, Yoshida makes absolutely sure he never accidentally adopts someone else's subjective opinion as an objective truth. And finally, he actively bursts his own bubble. Literally, he uses the AI to deliberately seek out opposing angles, asking, if we take the exact opposite stance, what kind of opinions exist out there? And to be clear, he isn't doing this to necessarily change his mind, but to stretch his own independent thinking. By intentionally confronting alternative viewpoints, he completely escapes the echo chamber, making sure his final understanding is just deeply considered and fully well-rounded. So you might be asking yourself, why go through all this effort? Why not just trust the AI's analysis completely and be done with it? Well, because both sources carry inherent flaws. Human-written articles often come totally loaded with hidden assumptions, personal biases, and specific editorial slants. But on the flip side, AI can make mistakes, hallucinate facts, or completely miss the subtle nuances of human expression. By acknowledging the specific weaknesses of both the human author and the generative AI, Yoshida basically builds a shield against being misled by either one. And this brings us right to the core of Yoshida's methodology, his three-step intellectual workflow. Step 1, read the article thoroughly. Step 2, discuss it with AI using those probing questions we just talked about. And step 3, which is absolutely the most important one, think for yourself. The AI does not replace his thinking, it expands it. It is only after completing all three of these very deliberate steps that he actually allows the information to become part of his internalized knowledge. Let's look at how this actually plays out in practice. Just recently, Yoshida read an article titled AI is Becoming a Best Friend. But instead of just swallowing the premise whole, he ran it straight through his workflow. By conversing with the AI, he sorted out the valid points, flagged all those exaggerated expressions, and isolated the author's pure speculation. The result? Well, not only did he deeply understand the article, but almost magically, the whole process clarified and organized his own internal thoughts on the concept of AI companionship. This everyday practice leads to a really profound redefinition of what AI actually is for Yoshida. It is definitely not just an extension of a search engine, and it's certainly not some oracle handing down quote-unquote correct answers. For him, AI is a thinking partner. It's a collaborative conversational tool designed to help you organize your thoughts and observe information from a bunch of multiple perspectives. It's not there to do the thinking for you, it's there to make your own thinking time infinitely richer and deeper. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway from Yoshida's records. Listen, in the AI era, gathering information takes literally seconds. Simply collecting facts, that is no longer a superpower. The true value today lies in cultivating what he calls observational power. It's having the patience to observe information carefully, the skill to untangle fact from opinion, the openness to accept totally different perspectives, and ultimately the courage to judge independently. It's all about proactive scrutiny rather than just passive acceptance. As we wrap up today's explainer, I really want to leave you with the exact same question that lingers throughout both the Japanese and international editions of Yoshida's work. What is your observation style? Seriously, when you come across a compelling article online, how do you evaluate it before making it part of your own worldview? Do you just keep reading? Do you compare sources? Or do you maybe start a dialogue with AI to help untangle it? Like we said at the start, we aren't closing the book on this today. I highly encourage you to just sit with these questions and perhaps take a page right out of Tommy Yoshida's records. Keep observing, keep questioning, and above all else, keep thinking for yourself.